Good morning, everybody. Everybody who's in, the Zoom meeting. So now we're about 60 people right here, and then some of you are watching us on the live stream right now. And so I'd just like to wish you all a good morning and welcome to our closing ceremony. I have right to my left, that's interesting. So we have so many people on the screen, and right next to me, I have Henri Holtsmeier from Estonia, and I would also just like to introduce him real quick. I was extremely happy. Getty, thank you for just reaching out to him. And Henri is very involved in the Fridays for Future scene in Estonia, and just an activist for climate issues, environmental issues. He's getting politically involved, and he is a great example of that youth can just take action, and that's what he's doing. He is an example by leading, an example by taking action. That is what we were looking for. We were looking for somebody who could give a talk today and really show you what it means to just do and lead by taking action. And so, Henri, I'm going to give it to you. Thank you so much. Maybe tell us a few more words about yourself, and then yeah.
Hello. Yes, thank you, Nick, so much for the introduction. Of course, I take action, but also education and doing workshops is also a big part of the action that I do, that we do with Fridays for Future in Estonia. What can I do? Say I'm nobody special. I'm currently 27 years old. I actually took real climate action only 2 years ago. I used to watch videos on YouTube a lot and wonder, like, the planet is going really bad. Somebody should do something. And at some point I realized that, hey, I could be the one to do something. And from there on, it has been quite a lot of learning. I also work with Friends of the Earth Estonia, which is another environmental organization movement to address the root causes of environmental degradation and show a new perspective to what an alternative sustainable society could be like. I'm really passionate about what a well-functioning economy that cares for nature would look like, and I often promote it where I can. So be aware of promoting an environmental economy. Thinking about what you said about the yoga instructor, I often find it amazing how community and our collective intelligence, when we run into problems, the community can solve them. And as with yoga instructor, I really see it as a great example. I come here to you from Oju, Estonia, near Tartu. And even though we are virtual, I'd like to invite you to the sense of being next to a lake, next to a morning campfire. What might be the possibility when we would be able to meet offline. And also, I would like to invite you to a little morning exercise to put your morning to give yourself a sense of presence. If you would like to, you can follow along with me. It's really easy. You can sit up or you can just sit down and follow along. So here we go. First, put your hands out in the front as far as you can go. And take a deep breath in, deep in your belly, as deep as you can. And then let it go. like if you wish, you can close your eyes. Then put your hands up high as you can. You don't need to go on tiptoe, but as high as you can. Again, take a deep breath in and let it go. Let it just fall out. Really good. And then a third one, putting your arms as wide on the sides as you can. And again, take a deep breath in, as deep as you can, and let it go. Let it just fall out from your nose, from your mouth, however it feels comfortable. And that's it. I hope you feel a bit more present, a bit more here in the now, and ready to sense along in this short speech. Okay, let's do this. So, time to take action. When I was a child, I had a privilege to grow up next to nature, next to my parents taking care of our garden. I had wonderful opportunity to play. To this day, I can recall the smell of wet grass after it has rained and the honeybees buzzing around our cherry tree that was in the front yard. And also the feeling of anger when my mom insisted that I would pick red currants before I could go swimming with my friends. Growing up, I was really curious about how the world works and why does it work the way it does. I would ask my neighbors, why do you put the potatoes in the ground in the springtime? I would ask my mom about these flowers that smell so funny. She said that these are lilies and they also stain your clothes. Do not touch them. They don't come out in the washing. And I wonder, like, how she can be sure that they don't come out in the washing. Of course, I had to make my own little experiment. I would just accidentally touch the flowers while playing. Of course, my mom was pissed. And after washing, I got my results. My hypothesis was confirmed. The stains do not come out in the washing. It was interesting to me to learn. And as I've grown, I've become even more curious. I've always found fascinating the question, why are we, human beings, capable of doing so many great things and at the same time capable of spreading so much horror, death, and destruction with our actions? We can cure diseases with a shot of a needle. We can invent technology to transcend time and space barriers, connecting billions online, connecting here with you and me. Yet, as a result of our collective actions, thousands of species around us have gone extinct. Grasslands have vanished and deserts have arisen. We have wreaked havoc on the life web that we belong to. Why do we give such horrible gifts to each other and our companions? Looking at the situation that we may find ourselves today, we might feel sad, angry, or even frightened and horrified. To me, there is no deeper sadness to see that your Mother Earth, is dying. Today, we are not the first generation of humans. but we are the first ones to experience the effects of environmental destruction on a global scale. We might not have chosen to be born in this era, but this is where we stand. Our parents, they have been blessed. They have lived in the age of abundance, the age of up, the age of more, the age of growth, limitless vacations, summer cottages, and as many cars as you wish on the driveway. But is it a blessing when it's joined by the curse of destruction? They and generations before us have had the luxury of spending, enjoying, and doing without facing the consequences of their actions. More than that, I bet that when you look closely, you see that this blessing is a bit hollow. They have developed speed, but they have shut themselves in. Their knowledge has made them a bit cynical. Their cleverness has made them hard and often unkind. Machine that has produced abundance has left them wanting more and more. But more of what? I remember one day asking my dad about money. I think I was some 10 years old. I'd ask, "Hey dad, why do people use money?" My dad was always eager to explain. And he responded something like, "Well, money is there so people can transact." He would go on to explain how you can buy and sell goods for money and how he and mom get money for the work that they do. I thought I understood, so I inquired further. But grandmother brings us eggs and tomatoes, and she doesn't want money. My dad was like, well, there's people you are close to, and sometimes they give you gifts. But like your grandmother does. But there are a lot of people that we don't know, and to get stuff from them, we use money and trade. Of course, I was even more confused. After our grandma visited, we had more food that we could have eaten. That was abundance. And with my family, I get to play with friends. There's food on the table and roof over our head. I get to read crosswords and do crosswords. And, well, what more do I need of? Even studies show that there's a certain ceiling from when you have more money and positions. They don't give you more happiness. Yet many of us are trapped in the illusion of more. I don't think we need more, at least not material possessions. More love, sure. And I wondered, why cannot everyone give gifts? I would love to give gifts to people. Nature gives us gifts. To this day, my young idealism makes so much sense to me. The river gives us gift of fresh water. It only asks us to keep it clean of pollution. The sea gives us plenty of fish. It only asks us to take care of it. The land gives us plenty of fruit and vegetables, and it only asks us to take care of its soils. That's how life works. Parents give us the gift of love. They take care of us, giving us the possibility to blossom, only asking us to consider our choices wisely. So what do we choose for? We may cry, or we may laugh. We may choose to stop using plastic straws and reuse plastic bags. We may choose to fly less and walk more. We may choose to ask, why more? We may ask, how come fish pooping in the ocean help to bring down acidity levels in the water? We may protest, or we may collaborate, or we may make workshops and work together. We may follow others, or we may develop our own path, our own vision, what it means to have a sustainable future full of life. From the time when I was in high school, I had been quite a rebel. I would argue with the society studies teacher that if the court system even makes sense today when it allows the destruction of the environment, I would try to prove to my math teachers wrong, and I always seen that I didn't win. But when I did to manage to find a mistake in her calculations, surprisingly, she would be thankful. And I would rebel and always wanted to speak out the truth that I knew was to be real. To this day, I see that the common, the normal, the everyday way of doing things today is a bit insane. Clearly doing the way we have been doing has not managed to protect the life around us. Every year for the last 25 years have been taking place a global political leaders summit where climate change and solutions are discussed. It's called the Conference of Parties. For 25 years, politicians have been discussing for solutions. Yet, during the same period of time, global human-made greenhouse gas emissions have risen by 50%. We talk about solving a problem for 25 years, and you manage to double the size of the problem while doing it. So I don't think the solution is there in politicians discussing. But I can tell you where I think the solution comes from. The solutions. One day, years ago, I was scrolling Facebook and I came across this video of a young girl. In a soft tone, she was speaking. Some people say that we should be in school instead. Some people say we should become climate scientists so we can solve the climate crisis. But the climate crisis has already been solved. We have the facts and solutions. The only thing we have to do is wake up and change. It was the voice of climate activist Greta Thunberg at Helsinki in 2018 October. I sensed truth and passion in what she said, and the message was really simple. The only thing we have to do is wake up and change. It's that simple. To protect our precious sea life, nitrogen fertilizer pollution from intensive agriculture can be cut. The practices of regenerative farming are there and waiting to be discovered. To protect our precious forests, intensive clear-cut managing style can be in history books. Permanent forestry principles are there and waiting to be practiced. To protect our precious bogs and peatlands, exploiting the land can be stopped, and the restoration work can begin. We have the facts and solutions. But of course, the social reality is complex. Today we have jobs. Companies need to have profit, and politicians need to have problems to argue about. The South has been ruthlessly colonized, and some say that the Third World War is just waiting to happen. But physical reality is quite simple. Either we save our soils or we face mass starvation. Either we save our freshwater sources or in future we may die of thirst. Either we learn to love people around us, or we drive our species into the history books. The question is, can we change in time? So what can we do to change in time? Your generation, my generation, we inherit our planet from our parents. We have the solutions to have to will. Greta did not ask her parents if she could strike. She chose to do what was right. She chose to stand up for what she believed. Maybe during this conference, you have found something new and interesting. You planted a seed. It may grow into a beautiful plant, or the wind may blow the seed away. In life, and often new and shiny things come to us. They grab our attention. And let the new shiny things blow, but protect your seed. Don't let it be blown away. Water it, nurture it, take good care of it. Ask questions. Even if they seem stupid, they will help you learn new things. And even if the ideas you come across may appear impossible, they will open your doors of perception. They will take your mind to new realms, new levels of imagination. Arriving at this gathering, you may have had already some curiosity lurking inside you. Did you find that something that is interest of you? Were you able to water yourselves? Great. Let the spark develop into a fire. Let it drive you forward. Let it show you the way. Your plant may flower, or it may wither away in drought. In life, we may find ourselves at the crossroads of doubt and faith. You learn to juggle a few balls. Soon you discover that some people juggle 10 balls, and some juggle with bowling pins, and some people light their balls in fire. You may feel a bit small and meaningless. Reaching such a high level may seem hard and a long road to take. You might question yourself, is this juggle even worth it? Maybe I should go play golf instead. When I was 15 years old, I first thought of system-wide change. I first realized that there's some deeper issue with the society that maybe I can see, but I could sense that some way we are missing the opportunity to take care of it. I would talk to friends about the issues. Some would understand, but many would not. And nobody would be interested in discussing along, thinking along. I would be disappointed and frustrated because no one noticed and no one cared. At least that was what I thought. For almost 10 years after that, I would go to school and work jobs that I really didn't care about, that I wasn't passionate about. I lived with the idea that the world was hopeless. And then out of nowhere came this Greta, and she spoke what I thought that needed to be spoken, that needed to be heard in the public. And there were a lot of people that agreed with her. I was amazed, and I took action. We did many climate strikes in Estonia, and the train of climate action is to this day speeding up, and it's great. Yet when I look back, I feel a bit sad. In some sense, I regret that at some point I gave up. I felt hopeless. The idea that I could have been smarter, find interesting people, find a mentor, and take some kind of action. But I didn't. I expected someone else to make the changes. And this is all to say that you are the main person that can water your plants, even if it's the driest season. Because in the darkest of times, hope is something that you keep to yourself. Or as Gandhi put it, you can be the action that you want to see in the world. In nature, nothing happens independent of one another. Everything in one way or another is connected to everything else. Sun shines on the leaves so the leaves can grow, and they produce forests. Forests hold moisture and let it slowly vaporize in the air, and they produce clouds and rain. And when it's warm enough, plants develop blossoms and attract honeybees. And honeybees move the plant from plant to plant, pollinate them while receiving sweet nectar. Arriving at this gathering, you may have had an idea on what you want to take action on, an idea of your juggle. Your plant is starting to blossom, waiting to give life fruit. Did you find your honeybees in the last few days? Excellent. What are they interested about? Why do they wake up in the morning? What kind of plants do they want to pollinate? They might be your partners in crime. Is it your action big or small? Always together we can achieve more. For years, I would write notes to myself on how war was ridiculous and how the world could be and how it should be. I would keep them to myself in the shadows. I would keep myself often in the shadows. While meeting new people, I would ask about them, what they believe, but I rarely expressed what I thought that the world should be. I would be afraid of someone, what they would think of me. I would be scared that I would not be accepted. Even speaking today to you, I feel a bit scared. I would be scared that some of you think that I'm insane. Maybe some of you would laugh at what I believe in. And that's okay, because I know that what I am doing is right. To live by our own beliefs may be challenging, and often we need courage. But how else can we go about life? Living by what other people believe? By what other people think of us? Well, I have done it, and I gotta say that staying in a shadow is a nightmare. Greta did not go on a climate strike because she was fearless. She did it because that was her way to live by her beliefs, to do the right thing, the thing that she believed in. During this conference, you may have sparked an excellent idea on what to do. And this sparked in your head, so it just might be a value of to you. Nurture it, grow it. Because only you can do it. Think of an example. If you want to grow the best tomatoes in the whole world, you need to know what kind of soil the tomato needs. You need to know how to cut the tomato. You need to give the tomato the right temperature. Be it growing tomatoes or beating a boss monster in a video game, skills are essential. Working with your idea, define the skills. How do you attract honeybees to your plant? How do you replant it with minimal damage? How do you harvest the fruit? Give your seeds the light that they require. Water them, caress them, do the right thing. And in the autumn, you can reap the harvest. And the community around us, you can reap the harvest. With one step at a time, we can make a difference. So I ask from you, what is the difference that you want to make? Where do you see that the world should go? And where could it go? And what would be your role in that? I hope you leave with some more insight from this conference and take courage to take action on the steps that you believe are right things to do. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Henri. I'm just gonna just like to be silent with everybody for about 30 seconds. I think that's kind of the best way to respond to what you told us. There's just a lot to kind of think about. So just maybe if you want, also like Henri started, you can just kind of close your eyes, be silent, and maybe just kind of think about, you know, what's that seed right now? What's that plant? All right. Thank you very much. Henri, I really touched me personally what you had to say at the end. You spoke. I'm not sure you used the word courage, but that's what I thought about. Saying something and kind of being worried about what other people might think about it. And that touched something inside of me. A lot of things start with a feeling. We start thinking about things, but then to say it, that's doing. That's the first part of doing, and that's really tough. And I like how you talked about partners in crime. If you were gonna plan that big bank robbery, you would find the first step. You would find those partners in crime. You would find those 1 or 2 or 3 people you can trust the most. And then you would think about it. All right, how are we going to do it? And okay, I don't want to think about robbing a bank right now, but for some reason I thought, yeah, it's those 2 or 3 people. That's where it starts, and then we go from there. And
yes, yeah, it was courage. It was courage. The pronunciation might be a bit tough. I haven't been outside from the country a while, but absolutely courage. It's not that we have to be fearless or lose the fear, but we can go with what we believe in.
So we have some thank yous in the chat. Also, maybe if there's that something you're feeling right now, just let Henri know in the chat what it was that you kind of felt or thought about, or give him a thank you. Just let him know in the chat what the last 35 minutes maybe was for you. I'm just really happy that you came and spent some time with us, Henri, and especially at our closing ceremony. I think the feeling we were trying to get together over the last two and a half days, I think you somehow just felt that exactly what it was, and you brought it all together for us. So thank you very much.